that you can have a go at with your own learners. Also, there'll be additional support via Zoom, and some of you might be willing to, and there may be the opportunity for me to come into 2 or 3 of the settings maybe, and to work alongside and to perhaps give advice where you're working with your own young people or your own children. So why does creative teaching and learning matter? Well, the thing about learning is if children can become emotionally engaged with it, that way they're going to really focus and it's going to really matter to them. And when you work through drama, you work in a collaborative way. So you're actually working socially and emotionally and culturally. So whatever you want the drama to be about, you work alongside the children in an imagined experience, but the teacher's got a learning agenda for the children. And what you'll get if you take part in this, you'll get a really good toolbox of drama strategies and techniques. In fact, you could call them pedagogical tools, really. They're teaching techniques. And what you'll learn is you'll learn some of these techniques and what you can do with them in order to help children to develop their thinking, their talk, and their talking together. And as I say, the subject matter can be about whatever you need it to be in your own particular teaching context. If you want to get a little bit of an idea about what this might look like, you could go onto YouTube and type in D, capital D, number 4, LC, D4LC, which stands for Drama for Learning and Creativity. You'll find a couple of teachers' television programs there, and one of them is a Key Stage 1 program, but one's a Key Stage 2 program, where one of the teachers that I've trained is actually working with his own class, and I'm giving advice and interspersing and supporting him in what he's doing. So if you want to get a flavour, please do that. I hope this interests you. I certainly think it's going to be a really, really worthwhile initiative to be involved in, and hopefully you'll be involved too. Thank you.
So please get in touch with me if you are interested in joining the project, or you know the teachers that they might be interested in joining the project. I leave my email address in the chat, so please get in touch, and looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, Mon. Just to reiterate, there is really limited space on this project, but we really think it's a fantastic project. We're really lucky to be working with Patrice. And I think it's a really good opportunity for you to get your teachers. You can nominate up to 2 teachers to get really good teaching techniques that make your supplementary school environment fun for young people and involves young people. There is another project that we're also really excited that we're working on. You're the first to hear about it, but we haven't kind of advertised it yet. But we are also will be working with UNICEF on child's rights and how you can incorporate that in your teaching and in your supplementary school. So it's a project that's coming up as well. Lots of opportunities for you to get involved and rethink some of the way that you are planning some of your teaching. Subject matter doesn't it doesn't matter what you're teaching. It's kind of gaining from these additional.
Are you on mute, Susie?
Touch by accident. So it's first come, first serve. I really recommend you get in touch with Mon and register your interest so you can get on the course. So thank you so much for listening to us. If you've got any questions, let us know.
Thank you so much, guys. I just want to check is everyone okay with us recording? Cool. And we've got some questions in the chat by Asad.
Mon, do you want to answer how long this course will last?
So basically, we're going to start in September, and the showcase is going to be in February. So for this phase, it's going to be from September till February, but it's going to be like once per month. So basically, one introductory session in September, which is online, and then hopefully we'll have a face-to-face whole day training session in October. And then we're gonna have follow-up sessions once in November and once in December. But teachers will receive plenty of support in between. So via email, phone calls, so we will have, like, in November and December, feedback, question and answer sessions to give them plenty of support. If they have already tried an activity, they can get back to us. If they need any suggestions or any kind of help, they can reach us easily. And also we will give them kind of like homework. So we want them to try out. We don't want them just to come for the training and just leave it behind. So that is important for the teachers, because then they can try out, they can learn, they can reflect, and also for us, because then we can also reflect on the impact. We can also get to know how we can carry on in a better way for the phase 2. So if I answered your question, yes, it's going to be from September till February.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Great. So if there's no more questions, I'm happy to pass on to Matthew. I didn't know if you wanted to say something earlier, Matthew, but I'll pass on to Matthew from the Education Department in the local authority to introduce yourselves introduce himself to this network and to get to know you guys more.
Just coming in, trying to get the video working, Annie. Seems to have switched me. Oh, there you go. Oh, there. Right, I'll talk with, I'm on. Great, excellent. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Really, I'm here to hear from you guys. That's really what I want to know. But I know that with COVID and with the return to schools, the role of supplementary schools is really, really important, I think, because of the amount of normal schooling that's been missed during the pandemic. And I'm just interested to know what goes on in the supplementary schools, what your projects are, how many students do you, how many, I am assuming it's mainly primary school, but you might tell me otherwise. I'm really that ignorant on the different supplementary schools. But what would be great is if we could start to build a kind of network, if you like, as I can see from the Annie's website, of getting all the supplementary schools in Hammersmith and Fulham given a bit more status, if you like, through the website, so that people know what's going on in the schools. And if the supplementary schools want advice and support from myself as a teacher or any of my colleagues in the primary sector, then please contact me and we can do that. And I'll put my contact number to you, Annie, so that they can contact me and let me know. But is it possible for Annie to get every supplementary school to contribute now that are here to go through tell me a little bit about their schools, and I'll take notes on the schools. Is that a possible way forward here?
Yeah, sure. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah. Just an overview summary of what you do, where you're based, and what's the age group, and how things are going. That would really help me.
Shall we start with Kamal, West Point? Or Kamal, are you there, or is anyone? Assad,
you might be on mute.
Yeah.
Oh, Kamal, yeah.
Yeah, our school is focused mainly on the 3 subjects: maths, English, and science, and most are primary. We have few GSCs, but they are not many. And time to time also we try to teach them coding. We have a coding club running as well, and we give them some coding things like computer coding like that, and mostly like that. We have also been funded by the Jack Budget Foundation Achievement, and we do some activity for them and for the children and things like that, playing tennis and ping pong, things like that, because we are part of the achievement and young achievement for Jack Budget Foundation, which helps the supplementary as well.
Kamal, where are you based?
We're based in Edward Wood Community Center.
Sorry, say that again. Sorry.
Edward Wood Community Center.
Community centre. And what part of where in? Sorry, although I spent 27 years working in Hammersmith for them, I don't know every area that as well as I should. I was based at William Morris Sixth Form for many years, and I work now.
The Edward Wood Community Estate. It's a big estate. It's just behind the. What's called?
I think it's the one behind Westfield, Edward Wood.
Oh, Westfield. Yeah, Shepherd's Bush. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And how many young people do you have, Kamal, in the
after the pandemic? We used to have about nearly 38, but now we are losing a lot of children not attending. But we are at about 23 now. But we are losing some children.
So you got space. You got space there. And what days of the week when do you work? At the weekends or evenings or
weekends? We do weekends.
Brilliant. Thank you, Kamal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Annie, do you want who would be?
Said, sorry. Do you want to go?
Yes. My name is Said. I manage an organization called Minaret. Our center is located in Fulham, North End Road. We are on 303. We are on the main road. Before the pandemic, we were hosting 50+ kids after school programs. We normally operate after school sessions, including weekends. Our main subjects are the core subjects of the mainstream schools like English, Maths, and Science. We also do the Arabic language as a language, but we are planning to introduce the Somali language from September because of the people, the majority of the community in this from Somali background, so they asked for that service. We moved to online lately, and now we are planning. We are putting these together to come back into the face-to-face activity again. Now we are doing only one-to-one sessions. We are not doing any group sessions at the moment, but we will start soon.
I think you've frozen a bit there, Said. I've just about got that, all of that. That's great. Can I ask? You mentioned the Somali. Oh, I can't hear. Ken.
I think you're frozen a bit there, Said. Should we maybe come back to him a bit?
Okay.
We'll come back to you. Oh, he's back. Are you? Sorry, we couldn't. You froze, Said. So.
I think my internet is playing around now.
Okay.
Let me go closer to the source because there's a connection issue here. Sorry.
No problem.
Is it any better? Is it any better?
Yeah, it seems better.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, sorry. Should I repeat everything I said, or you guys got some part of it?
I got the beginning of it. You kind of froze a little and sort of cut out a bit. So
okay.
I know that I know you're doing English, Maths, Arabic, and you're starting to and Science, and you're thinking about bringing Somali in.
Language.
Yeah, I was listening, and I just wanted you to pick up from there.
Yes. Yeah, I was just saying that, like anybody else, the pandemic basically affected the way we deal our business. We moved to online, and we have been working on with the online lately. And now we are planning to come back face to face again, hopefully from August. And we are planning to summer activities as well, which includes teaching and playing football as well. So we are a bit busy in that sense, working with other partners in the borough with this project. We are hoping to go back to our normal routine after the summer activities.
Oh, I get that. Thank you. Thank you. Can I ask a question about the Somali language? Do you have, it's interesting because we wanted to build up some within our, what we call our Hammersmith and Fulham alumni. There might be other people might be able to link into this, which is of successful young people from different communities so that we can connect them with the schools, if you like, to be role model individuals from Hammersmith and Fulham, particularly if they're, I mean, it's particularly as a kind of Somali community, because we're aware there's a lot of young people in some of the schools, particularly I know at William Morris, where they would really benefit from seeing some really positive role models within the Somali community, Somali young boys, for example, who can come a little bit disengaged for one reason or another. And it's a real target group. So if that's something we could probably talk about, Saeed. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely amazing. Because I mean, this idea was around for quite a while, really, but we could not really. Even though I myself I'm a teacher, and I am Somali descent. My Somali is everything I know is from Somali, so I could teach. But then I prefer to have a proper teacher who is a specialist into the language and into the Somali language. And finally, we got somebody who is interested to do that job, and then we are planning to do that. But as you mentioned, it's very, very important, really, to teach the children their mother tongue, every language, any language background. I think that's a good opportunity to give these youngsters the opportunity to learn something from their background as well.
Okay, thank you, Saeed. Thank you. Yeah, you're frozen again, but we can hear you fine.
Thank you.
Cool. Asad, do you want to go next?
Yeah, my name is Asad. I am a charity called a Mother and Child Welfare Organization.
Mother and Child,
welfare organization based on Shepherd's Bush in Oxbridge Road. Thank you. It is very, very useful and very important discussion we're having. As far as I know, this pandemic has created a lot of frictions that children were locked at home, but since it's slightly eased, I think the young people are coming back and they wanted to have some discussions, playing footballs, as well as supplementary schools. We have before the pandemic, we have a handful of young people who were teaching them the basic like maths, English, and double science, which are the three core area. But I'm really, really excited what I'm hearing like arts today, or the one that Ania presented, which is the creative teaching learning, which we will include our community. The area we are focusing now is just to improve all disadvantaged youths who want to learn to brush up their skills. And to do that, we just need help from you and the local authority.
Can I ask her, what sort of help are you looking for? Is it going to be funding, or is it people, or is it advice? What's the help?
Not necessarily. It'd be nice if you have a one-to-one discussion. There are areas we need to discuss, and mainly with the ITs. So just to brush up the youths. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's happy to talk to you, Asad. So, do you actually within the Mother and Child Welfare Foundation? Is there a supplementary school? Is that the supplementary school in Shepherd's Bush as well?
Yeah, there is, and also there is in Wandsworth, but we do on the weekends, mainly Saturdays and Sundays in the afternoon.
And have you seen the numbers dip? Like I think it was Kamal was saying that the numbers have dipped after the pandemic. You've lost a few.
Yeah, because we're hoping that they're slightly coming back now, because we used to do the online things, and now hopefully when the things are eased, we are willing to see the one-to-one. Yeah.
One-to-one. So how many students, young people are coming about?
It varies. It varies because of the pandemic. Everyone is slightly concerned about their safety.
Yeah.
But hopefully, we had a hand of people. The last one we had about 25 to 30.
And how many people? Listen, I should have asked the others this, but how many people could you have? What's if you were like, if suddenly everyone wanted to come?
It depends. Sometimes you have a 10, 15.
Yeah.
And because of the pandemic, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it depends. Yeah. It's interesting how we can get those numbers back up. I'm sorry, I'm just listening to what you're saying. This is actually, I'm thinking more questions to ask, because I'm going, as you're going to other people as well that have been. But it's interesting that how do you do the science? I mean, you're teaching science in there and maths in there, really difficult subjects to. I mean, is it because it's? How do you get the teaching for that? How do you? Who are the people that teach it?
Sometimes we have the teachers who are in our community and who does voluntary work, and we ask them if they can help them through the online.
Yeah, I'm seeing that's where we could maybe work out, is sharing good practice from the schools and maybe getting some resources to the supplementary schools. I'm thinking to help those teachers if they're from the community and in the schools. But that's something we can talk about, and I'll see how it develops with afterwards. So Annie, thank you. Assad, that's good.
So we've got Amina.
Amina. Hello, Amina. We're going to come through.
Amina, can you hear us?
Oh yeah, I can now.
Hello, Amina.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. My name is Amina Osman. I am the CEO/Director for Community Education Forum. We've been running supplementary school for the last 20 years. We used to run in the schools, Henry Compton and Fulham Girls School, Fulham Cross. And over the years, we were there for about 6 to 7 years. And then we moved to a community center called Bishop Crichton House. And then from there, we moved to Fulham Boys. That was our last school. And we stopped working at Fulham Boys School in West Kensington at the time of the pandemic started. So we haven't been back to the school yet, but we are in talks to go back in September. At the moment, we were just doing as much as we can online. So the number of young people we cater for are from 5 years old to 16-year-old. That's from primary to secondary school. We also used to run a summer projects for called Art Project. So
what was it called?
Art Project, whereby we take young people throughout London to kind of photograph all the landmarks, and then we make them compete for the best picture and stuff like that. And we were hoping to put them in galleries once they compete for the best. So we did that in the summer of 2019.
Wow.
So we have trips as well. We encourage them to do videos. So that we have the art project in the summer, and then we have the supplementary school whereby we teach maths, English, and science. And the way we get our teachers is through our networks, and we use qualified teachers instead of any other teacher. Even though they are very expensive to pay, but we manage up until the pandemic.
That's excellent, Amina. I missed the name of. Sorry, right at the beginning, you said the name of the
organization is Community Education Forum.
The Community Education Forum. Okay,
Forum. That's the one. Yep.
Yeah, you've been moved around. What's the plan? Do you think you'll get back into Fulham Boys in September?
Yes, we were using the space with other community groups like boxing and other youth groups. So the boxing team have gone back. So at the moment, Fulham Boys, the school has moved out of the Fulham Boys, and there is a problem about who to contact to go back into the school. So the contact person has changed, even though I've asked some of the groups who have gone back there. They have told me to call someone within the council for community engagement to kind of arrange again so that we can go back there.
Yeah, it's not. The difficulty is that the council
yes
do not have the school is a kind of an academy school, so
yes.
it's the council can try and get the community engagement going.
Yeah,
I can follow that. If you get a problem, I can follow that up for you.
that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I've just jotted that down. What you're talking about, community engagement.
I was given a number. I did call the number, but there was no answer. It always goes into a message. So I gather the council staff are not back yet at their offices. So it's a bit of a problem because the phones always go.
Okay, you just through Annie, I don't know if we can do emails, but if we could pop the name of the person you're trying to contact into the chat, I can follow that up at some point. You can just message me via the chat here, and I can get the person you're trying to contact. Okay, but can I ask about if it does all open up, what's the...
It is going to open up because we are expecting the funding to start back in September. We are applying to the same people who funded us before. And who
you funded by?
We were funded by Elscott Community Group.
Oh, right. Okay.
Development, yeah. They funded us. They've been funding us for a long time. So we have a bit of a relationship with them. So I'm just hoping about 80% we will be able to be going back.
Yeah, on the actual school itself, 5 years to 16 is a long, big age group.
Because we have different classrooms, so we use each. We divide the young people because on the weekend we have the whole school to ourselves. We have the football pitch, so nobody else uses the school except us on the weekend. So the other groups use it in the weekdays.
Okay, that's interesting.
So we have a good space for the young people to go to different classes.
Right. Okay. And what's the curriculum? Core subjects again? Is it mainly?
Core subjects mainly, and then at break time they play a bit of football.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And when you do, this is something I could ask to the other ones, but the questions are coming to my mind as I go. The youngsters that do the core subjects, do you then get any feedback as to how they're getting on from, even if it's just via their parents or via the schools directly would be ideal, about how they're getting on in their English and in their maths and in their science in their actual schools?
Yeah, the system that we have developed is to ask the parents for their school report at the end of the school. At the end of every term, we ask for the school report to see whether we have, even though we can't claim all the benefit that we have, it's us who've made them.
To see the impact.
Yeah, we can't claim the school has a part to play, but we also think the young people who come to us always improve their English, maths, and science. And for each subject, we normally get people who are qualified in those subjects. If we're getting an English teacher, we have to get an English teacher who has an experience of teaching at school. If we're getting a science teacher, then we get people who are already working in schools. And as they are already working in schools, they help us with the materials as well.
Yeah.
So they can share materials from their own schools, and they have been very supportive. And we had volunteers from universities as well.
Brilliant. Okay, that's thank you, Amina. That's really, really full coverage.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can I just add something quickly, Matthew? We will be doing an event in the autumn, NRSCE and Young People's Foundation Trust, which Hammersmith and Fulham Young Foundation is one of. And we'll be doing an event for mainstream schools and mainstream school head teachers, because we've had we've been contacted by many of them who say we're not up to date with what the guidance is around allowing out of school settings, because obviously they've been focused on everything that's been going on in school, and they've been very busy, understandably. So we want to do a session to kind of raise the profile of what supplementary schools have been doing, what they are doing. Most of them have put all the protective measures in place and got policies and procedures. So it'd be really good when we have a date for that to ask you to maybe advertise it within, you know, to head teachers within Hammersmith and Fulham.
Yeah, I think two things. One is it'd be great if myself or one of my colleagues go to that. I mean, Tahira, who's one of my colleagues, has got the overview with the COVID issues. But there's also another aspect which I'm really interested in, is once we're post this, is how do we help young people catch up on what they've missed? And I think I would be great. And I think if supplementary schools, and we hope supplementary schools, I think everyone here is going to agree with me, do have a huge role to play in helping that catch-ups take place. Absolutely. But I think if they're not talking to the mainstream schools or in any way, or the heads aren't involved in what they're doing, then it can become disconnected a bit. Yeah. So I think I agree with you having that meeting, and it'd be great if we can get heads to come.
Brilliant. So I will get in touch with you when we have this event, because we've been asked by many supplementary schools to help in that area, because they're unable to access mainstream schools. They're unable to say to them, look, we understand what we have to do. We're ready. We want to access the premises. They're just not being allowed back. And they have such a massive role to play, like you said, in catch up. So with that in mind, I'll get in touch so we can make sure that that head teachers know about the event, that local authority also is involved in the event, so that kind of that connection can happen a lot more. One
tip, I know everyone's listening here, but one tip I'll give you is head teachers sometimes are really busy, and sometimes it'd be good if you can't get a head teacher to go, get their vice principal, their deputy head, or their head of curriculum or teaching and learning, because if you just need a representative that then goes back into the school, preferably someone on the leadership groups of the school.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So the last one we have is Amin, but I don't know if she can use her mic. So it might be that they email it to you, because Amin, I don't know. Yeah.
Is Amin not able? Yeah, just gonna put. If I put my message on my, has everyone got my email, Annie, on this?
No. So if you could put your email.
That'll be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put my email in there, and then it can be people can email me. That's absolutely fine. So I'm writing as I just do that in a minute. I'm just going to say, yeah. So thank you, everyone. I've taken notes. It's really good. Did we get through every school that's here?
Yeah, I mean, we have got other schools that haven't been able to make it. So if you were wanting to know the other schools, I can definitely give you their details, or I can get them to get into contact with you as well, so they can let them know about their provision.
I think what would be is that really good is what you advertised at the beginning, Annie, that if every school can get a profile of their school on your site.
Yeah, definitely.
I would back that down the line, and then we can connect that to, we can look into that. We use that website as well, so that'll be a superb way forward. And can I just thank everybody for giving me an overview of the supplementary school? I feel like I've learned a lot listening to you, so thank you, guys. I noticed Gareth here as well, so hello, Gareth. And so back to you, Annie.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matthew. Really appreciate that. And like part of our aim at the Young Hammersmith and Fulham Foundation is for supplementary schools and mainstream schools to work closely together, because yeah, it just makes sense. So
it does make sense.
Yeah, so now we have Gareth Davies from Chelsea Football Club, and he's come to talk to you about what they do and potentially how you guys can collaborate as well with Chelsea Football Club. So I'm going to hand it over to Gareth.
Hi guys, Annie, thanks for inviting me. I think I can hopefully screen share. I've just got a little presentation. As Annie says, we'll just give you an idea of what the Football Club Foundation can offer schools within the borough. Probably just take a step back, just in case some of you are sort of unaware of who we are. We're Chelsea Football Club Foundation, so we run all the community activities on behalf of the club. Most professional clubs will have some form of community department, and we're extremely lucky in Hammersmith and Fulham, or you guys are extremely lucky because you're the only borough that has 3 professional clubs working in your borough. So definitely make use of the stuff that ourselves, Fulham and QPR can offer, because you're in a very unique situation. But it's what the foundations are is a lot of the funding that they'll get will come from the Premier League, and it'll be to run various community initiatives. So that could be everything you'd expect us to do in terms of football sessions, sports sessions in school, holiday activities, etc. But it's also becoming much wider than that. A lot of educational based activities, which I'll talk about, a lot of mental health programs. We're actually working in collaboration with Mind on some sessions. We do a lot of health, the health and wellbeing stuff as well with older adults. We've got a lot of reminiscence activities. We also run the National Citizenship Programme, NCS programme, which is for 15 to 17-year-olds, which it's a government-led programme. So that for your students, those that work in secondary schools, would be fantastic. However, we're targeted to certain schools. So I can certainly give you some information on the National Citizenship Programme, and you'd be able to see which club or provider is linked to your school. So I suppose, yeah, that's the first thing to say is that, you know, definitely make use of the resources of the professional clubs, because they're a lot more than balls, bibs and cones. They're a lot more than just turning up and doing football sessions. We've got a range of skill set, a range of staff that can really help in a variety of ways. But I'll share my screen just to talk in a little bit more depth about what we can offer. I'm hoping everyone can sort of see that. Please yell at me if you can't. So as I said, Chelsea FC Foundation, the community arm of the football club. We have 2 main departments really that can complete activities that may be of benefit and of use or interest to your schools. The first department is the community department. So we run a lot of, as it suggests, community-based activities that can be sports-based, but can also be sort of educational or classroom-based as well. In terms of those initiatives, and I'll talk briefly about each initiative, and I've very deliberately put the main contact of each of those initiatives as well, so you can follow up, and I can send this presentation to Annie as well, so you've got it. The first one is Premier League Kicks. Now, this is something that all 3 clubs in the borough will run, and all 3 clubs run it quite coordinated. So we make sure that we run in different parts of the borough. We make sure we run on different nights, so there's good access for every single young person in the borough. Now, it's mainly aimed at 8 to 18-year-olds, and they are literally football-based, youth club-based sessions to engage young people in positive activity. So rather than them hanging on street corners, rather than them engaging in negative antisocial behaviour, we provide a safe space and a safe activity for those young people. They can be on facilities around the borough. So, for example, Chelsea run a session at Ilbrook Common. They can also be in conjunction with youth clubs. So we run some sessions with Sands End Youth Club. We've done some work with Soulgrave Youth Club, etc. So they can be run in slightly different settings. It is a year-round provision. So even though it adapts in the school holidays, we absolutely are recognising the importance of providing that year-round provision, and our holiday programmes with the fantastic work sort of done over the last year with Marcus Rashford bringing a lot of issues to light, is we run a lot of football and food or sport and food based programmes. So that's probably an initiative that you can sort of speak to your pupils about, get some information from Callum that can be done in sort of the evenings, weekends and school holidays as well. Breakfast clubs is a new provision that will start in September. You may or may not be aware that I believe the club were helping to supplement breakfasts for schools in Hammersmith and Fulham. That is continuing, but is looking slightly different from September 2021. So we're working with Samantha Lord, who some of you, a name you may hopefully recognise from the council. I think she's a Healthy Schools Coordinator, on basically working with sort of some of the most deprived primary schools in the borough to provide a breakfast club. That's not only the food, but it's more on the education and more on the physical activity side. So that could consist of a young cohort coming in every Monday morning, and us, as well as them getting provision of a breakfast, it could be physical activity, and it could be a little bit of a talk on nutrition. That again would be a year-round provision, because in the holidays we would like to bring the families in and do some family activities, and that could be learning to do sort of activities as a family, so using local green spaces, so providing activity packs to a family and sort of giving them an idea of games they can play. It could be from supermarket visits as well, label reading, and trying to get families to pick healthier options from the supermarket. So that's something that can be both within your schools, but also something that can be done for the family and school holidays as well. School sports provision is pretty much exactly as it says. So, we have a football development department, a sports development department that can run after school activities, in-school activities, PE support, physical activity clubs at lunchtime or preschool, before school as well. So that school sports provision that Matt oversees is probably pretty much what you'd expect your sort of football club community organisation to be running. But again, doesn't have to be football. Obviously, we are a football club, and that's the main thing we do. But we do run a lot of multi-sport provision. We do a lot of PPE within schools where we cover PE lessons, and a lot of our coaches are physical education in school sports trained. So they do have an AFP qualification that trains them in the school sports curriculum, not only for football. A really interesting project is our, from a community perspective, our Chelsea Champions project. Now this is it's based in secondary schools. We have 6 schools overall, and we have 2 in the borough, 1 at Fulham Academy Trust and 1 at Fulham Boys School. And this really looks at the emotional well-being and resilience of secondary school pupils. So we started this programme sort of 3 years ago when there was a need. I'm sure everyone agrees the last 18 months that need has only gone one way. So that officer is full-time within the school. Yes, that they obviously wear the badge, wear the kit, but they more sit on the pastoral side. So they use a range of, it could be one-to-one mentoring, it could be a targeted intervention, or it could be a universal activity for the whole school. But they're really sort of there as that trusted adult and to support pupils in whatever issues, needs, or wants they may have. So that can range from, yes, sports and extracurricular provision. It could be for mental health support. It could be speaking with families, etc. So it's just, I suppose, to provide schools with that extra pastoral health and wellbeing resource rather than just a sports teacher. So again, there is 2 schools within the borough that has that project. That's everything from a community aspect. The other department that runs a lot of activities is our education department, and those are, as they suggest, probably utilising football, sport, etc. from an educational aspect and sort of accredited learning in some cases. For this, you'll be pleased to know you've only got one contact, which is a guy, our schools and education manager called Sam Mardle. So he would be able to be contacted for all this. I don't know, I put primary stars at the start. I don't know if there is sort of primary schools on here, but again, it's just to give you an idea. Apologies, you may see me sort of reading some of these because these are not my projects direct, but primary stars is, as it suggests, is for primary school children. It's for 5 to 11-year-olds. But it's really about engaging young kids in literacy and numeracy. And also sort of a little bit of PHSE curriculum as well. So it's using football for literacy and numeracy, whether that's getting to read match reports, whether that's getting to read players' cards, whether that's using dream teams or adding up players' shirt numbers. It's just trying to find an engaging way for young people to learn maths and English. There's also a sort of training of the teacher element. So in primary schools especially, we try and train up primary school teachers to feel more comfortable teaching PE as well. So that's a sort of really good program. Again, that's a nationwide program that is run by a lot of clubs up and down the country. Digital Blue is again again, apologies if there's no primary schools on here, is again sort of targeted at sort of Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2, and it's basically all about STEM. STEM intelligence of young people, trying to prepare our primary school children for the jobs of tomorrow, basically. They look at, apologies for me reading here because my STEM's not great, is looking at coding, design, robotics. I've seen a fantastic demonstration for our education team where they do robot football, and you program the robots to recreate goals or to recreate movements on a surface. Absolutely fantastic. The kids pick it up in about 5 minutes. We did a training day on it pre-COVID, and it took the staff significantly longer, put it that way. But again, it's a sort of fantastic program to really prepare our young people for the jobs of tomorrow. PL Inspires, or Premier League Inspires program, is for secondary school pupils. So 11 and actually up to 25. So it can be used within the community for various groups as well. Again, with our Inspires program, it's more around creativity and entrepreneurship. So there's a lot of sort of Dragon's Den type activities that go along with it, trying to create something new, something that can solve a problem. This is a national program as well, so you'll tend to find it sits well with students doing business studies. So ideas are put forward nationally, and we've had 5 young guys this week from Fulham Boys Schools within our borough go through to the national tournament. I suppose you can still a tournament, even though there's no footballs being kicked, against other clubs, pitching their ideas to the chief executive of the Premier League, who will then choose an idea and a prize be sought. So it's a real good for any sort of entrepreneurial, creativity, business studies types courses you've got in your school. It's a real fantastic program. We've then got some sort of more specific to Chelsea, if you like, some programs. Diversity Wins, which is actually with a European partner. It's a 6-week project. Again, this is delivered in primary schools. So once more, forgive me if most of you are in the secondary school field. But again, it's basically just trying to tackle racism and discrimination. Again, trying to make sure that education is there from early years, and obviously using football, using role models within football in the male and the female game, just to stress the importance of inclusion, diversity, not only in football and sport, but in our communities as a whole. Say No to Hate is a similar sort of program to that. Again, looking at differences and diversity, celebrating inclusion. It's probably a little bit more on as well. We talk about some of our LGBTQ plus groups, etc. But again, it is very similar to that Diversity Wins type scenario. Again, just using different voices, different role models to try and get across to our young people the importance of inclusion and diversity within our local communities. The last program is a female-specific program, Goal Getters. So overall, it's there to empower and inspire young women. It's 7 weeks of delivery. It's targeted at year 8s and 9s. So it is targeted at secondary school females, looking at resilience, looking at, trying to make sure from an inclusion point of view, looking at empowerment, looking at confidence, self-esteem. So it's very much a sort of mental health, wellbeing, resilience program with a focused group that's led by our sort of female members of our education team. So quite a lot of different programs there. Some of them you'll be able to see highlighted if you go onto our Twitter page. So at CFC Foundation, you'll see a lot of our tweets on there, past and present, that would link you to a lot of those programs, our website as well. But it's a lot of talking from me, guys. So please, any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. I'll stop sharing. Okay, I've got some questions in the chat. Let me see. Confirmation. Now, a lot of the programs will be school specific. So rather than refer, like for the community programs, definitely KICS is something you can refer direct. So you can obviously the community-based programs, but obviously like with the diversity wins, a lot of the education bait, they're in schools. So you could actually contact the relevant person and you know, if you've got a group of year 8 and 9 females that you think would benefit from this program, then you could contact the relevant Sam Mardell and go, look, heard from Gareth about the offer you've got, really interested in this program for my group. Same as something like PL Inspires. You know, if you've got a business studies group or an entrepreneur group, a creative group, it may sit well. But from a KICS point of view, absolutely, you can just, you know, contact Callum. He'll be able to send you information on all sessions in the borough, and that could be sent out to your guys and girls. Hope that's answered the question, Susie. Please tell me if I haven't.
No, I think it has. Obviously, I'm just anticipating some of the questions from supplementary schools, because there is always great stuff happening at kind of local level. But it's important that the supplementary schools, who are an excellent gateway to communities and sometimes hard to reach families and so on, that they're able to say, we work with these young people, you know, can we refer them directly? So that's really good to know that it's possible and they've got contact to do that.
That's fine. I've just seen Matthew as well is about the digital blue and what schools are using this already. Unfortunately, Matthew, I don't know, because it's a different department from me, but Sam Mardell would absolutely know that. So apologies, I'm having to palm that question back.
Sorry to put you on the spot there, Gareth.
That's
yeah,
right, mate, no worries. No worries.
Sam Mardell, is it? The reason I ask is because you said that they do a STEM project. Is that right?
Yes. So I'm referring to my notes now, Matthew. Yes. So basically, our digital blue is all based on the STEM, and we take we've got sphero balls. We take the robotic football in. It's really,
it sounds fantastic.
It's a really sort of powerful way, and I have seen it firsthand because we've done some demonstrations. As I said, you know, the kids just get it and pick it up, the coding and everything. You know, they pick it up so quickly.
I'm going to add that to. I have to do a report if it happens to the local authority, to the council leader. So this is in everyone's interest about STEM projects, and I could add this in as one of the projects that are taking place in the borough. So I just need to get a couple of schools or supplementary schools that are using it. But I can contact Sam Mardell, can I?
You absolutely.
I'll ask him.
Hoping to do today. We were going to sort of tag team, me doing community and me and him doing education, but unfortunately he isn't able. But he is expecting. He'll know I've done a good job, Matthew, if he knows he gets people contacting him about it. If no one contacts him about it, then he'll moan that I haven't done a good job of selling his program. So no, the more information that goes to him, the better.
Thank you, Gary.
No worries. Any more questions, guys? I'm happy to answer.
I just have a question. Are the programs free to do, like, for if the school was to have a program come in, is it free?
Generally, from our point of view, the only one from a community point of view, the school provision would be income generating, would be a cost. But certainly from a community point of view, KICS is free. It's community based provision. Breakfast clubs are funded. That would be a free provision. Chelsea Champions is something that's a bigger contract. So, for example, we have full-time officers in schools. But to give you an idea, each of those schools pay £9,000 a year for that officer, and obviously we don't pay our officers £9,000 a year. So that's heavily subsidised by us. From an education point of view, I am pretty sure, I know this is being recorded, but I'm pretty sure they are all free.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, because they're all come from our different funded streams. So yes.
Cool. And just to give a bit of context, with supplementary schools, they tend to run after school or on the weekends. So say if they wanted to have one of those programs come in over the weekend or after school? Is that a possibility, or to one of their schools? Is that a possibility at all?
I wouldn't see that being a problem. I'd probably see that being a little bit of an advantage, because obviously most, like for example, you know, most schools will obviously want to run at certain times, and if we've got provision that we can put in, whether it be, you know, slightly later in the day, even earlier in the day, because a lot of schools will want these types of projects in the afternoon. You know, there's very much folks where it has to be literally a numeracy in the morning. So the digital blues, the inspires, they want that in the afternoon. So I would see that as an advantage, the fact that we can have different groups going at different times. It would be obviously the education team and a lot of their projects to decide that. But yeah, absolutely, I can't see it being a major issue. If anything, it will help logistically with not everyone wanting things at exactly the same time. Perfect. Sorry, that's just seeing Susie.
Yeah, I think I'm just saying that both ways, you know, it's also really good, you know, for your foundation to know what else is happening in the community with the same kind of young people, because as you're developing your programs, it just gives you that kind of that background of actually what's happening through these organizations, because sometimes supplementary schools are so you know, they're all delivery based, you know, they focus all their time and energy on delivering, and we try our best to then amplify the work that they're doing and say this is what they've been doing and this is what support they've been giving young people. So I think this is really good to kind of hear it both ways, and yeah, sounds really exciting.
Perfect, no worries. Well, I'll make sure I send the presentation to Annie, mainly that you guys have got the exact contact of who you need. I'll also put my email on there, so if you do, and I would hope you wouldn't, but if you do contact someone and they're not getting back to you, then you can certainly contact me, and I can give the relevant person a nudge to make sure we get back to you, and hopefully from September, then some of these programs can be being delivered in your schools.
Cool. So can I just ask also, what is the scope of potential like collaboration to have like collaboration on projects to maybe tailor them more towards supplementary schools or more towards the young people that are in those settings? Is there potential for that type of collaboration? Or
absolutely. I mean, there is, you know, depending on the sort of, so I'm just plugging you in because I'm just about to run out of battery. Yes, there's absolute that potential. You know, if we need to adjust slightly, you know, it tends to happen in most schools. You know, it doesn't tend to be a one size sort of fits all. So, you know, there can be some sort of, you know, whether it's, you know, shorter, more sessions. You know, we've delivered these in a variety of environments. We do a lot of work in Feltham Young Offenders Institute, and we've delivered some activities in there. And obviously there you're slightly adjusting the activities to your audience. So yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's where this is great, because we can come in with these programs, but by working with you guys, you can go, right, that's great, but you're gonna have to slightly change it to fit this. And again, in terms of adaptability, you know, everyone's been so adaptable over the last 18 months from physical to virtual. That yeah, I would have thought that we would be able to, hopefully, fingers crossed, meet most people's needs. I've just got Asad there. For considering these activities, what are the time frame for football, afternoon football session? So normally things are done in an hour generally, but again, you know, we run breakfast clubs for half an hour, physical delivery, lunchtime clubs the same. So again, there's no real, or we have to run it for this period of time. We do have, the only thing from a sports provision point of view, we do have a 2-coach minimum policy. So with the sports provision that I said is income generating for schools to perhaps save themselves a little bit of money, if it can be done in conjunction with another sports activity or with a school member of staff, then you would only need 1 coach. But yeah, there's no specific time frame of how long you have to have each session or how many weeks. Some will book it for an academic year. Some schools we do stuff termly. We can even do stuff sort of, I'd say half termly would be the sort of minimum, rather than you know, just an odd week. But again, even with that, if you wanted to do it every other week, we could accommodate that as well. Hope that's answered, Assad.
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect.
And also, Gareth, you mentioned about the tournament. I know you mentioned there are no fees required, but if the children are going to tournament like a football and other places, would there be any fees involved?
No, generally not. No, not on our Kicks program. So our Kicks program is fully funded. So to give you an example, there was the 32 Borough Cup on Sunday. We actually were representing Kensington and Chelsea, not Hammersmith and Fulham. We would pay for transport for the players. We would pay for refreshments for the players, and we would bring them back. So there wouldn't be any costs associated with a kicks session, or be it a normal session, or be it taking them to tournaments.
Thank you.
No worries.
Okay, thank you so much, Gareth. I think that's sorry.
Annie, can I just ask a question? I wanted to ask about the help that can be given to supplementary school, because we have some young people who are interested in football, older young people, but they don't have formal training on how to coach young, less young, like the 15-year-old, the 13-year-old. We have about 25-year-olds, 23-year-olds who are interested in volunteering for us, but they don't have the skills on how they could, help the young people play football professionally, or, all the details that goes with football.
I got you. No, yeah, we don't do football courses. The best thing to do,
yes,
would be go to the FA website, look up the FA Playmakers course. So the FA Playmakers course is the first sort of step into football coaching.
Okay.
You don't have to be 18, so I think you have to be 14 only to do it.
Yeah.
And that gives you the first step, and that sets them up for their FA level 1. Once they get their level 1, that's the first rung of the coaching ladder. But definitely that FA Playmakers course is something that can be done without a doubt.
All right, thank you. Good information. Thank you.
That's all right. No worries.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Gareth, and thank you, everyone. Hopefully you found this very useful today. Thank you so much to Gareth and Matthew for coming and sharing what you guys are doing, and also thank you, the supplementary schools, for coming as well. We really appreciate you coming to contribute to this network. What I'll do is I'll share the presentations of everyone, so you can get people's contact details and reach out to them, and hopefully you guys can start working together more.
Yeah, that's very useful.
And, yeah, and thank you to Susie and Mon as well from NRSCE. That's really great. Thank you for sharing your programs as well. Is there anything you want to say?
Thank you.
Thank you all. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Annie. I'll send you my presentation.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Annie.
Bye bye. Thank you, Annie, for inviting me.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.